Hollywood isn't losing to Hollywood, it's losing to your phone. Think about it. A $200 million movie, 2 years to make, 2 hours to watch, is competing with a 30-second short video on an Instagram reel or in a YouTube short that you just can't stop replaying. Here's the part that changes everything. Did you know an average Gen Z attention span is 8 seconds before they decide whether they'll continue watching the video? Now that's a stat Hollywood was not built for.
Be a great renaissance with production in the future, but it certainly seems like the cinematic experience is under threat. But, you know, I'm not here to push or advocate that people must see things in theaters. I'm just a fan of it myself, and that's how I grew up, and I think that's how they're best experienced.
This isn't just a shift in entertainment. It's a complete rewrite of how stories work, how influence works, and honestly, how America sees itself. Let's start with the big question. Are 2 hours movies dying? Not exactly. They're no longer the center of culture. In 2002, the US sold over 1.5 billion movie tickets a year. Today, that number is closer to 800 to 900 million in a strong year. Meanwhile, people now spend over 2.5 hours a day on social media, much of that on short-form video. You don't sit through stories anymore, you scroll through them. So here's the blunt reality. A TikTok creator can have more cultural influence than an A-list Hollywood actor. Why? On TikTok alone, users spend an average of 90 plus minutes a day. Compare that to Netflix, where the average daily viewing is often under an hour per user globally. And it's not just time, it's trust. Around 60% of Gen Z say they trust influencers more than traditional celebrities. Why? Because influence today isn't about scale, it's about intimacy. Creators speak to you, actors perform for you. This is where Gen Z changes the game. They don't just consume content, they co-sign it. On YouTube alone, over 70% of Gen Z say they relate more to creators than to traditional celebrities. Hollywood used to tell America what stories to care about. Now, America is telling itself. So what does it do to storytelling? It compresses it. Short-form video under 60 seconds is now one of the fastest growing formats in media. That means, instead of character arcs, you get moments. What about influence beyond entertainment? When celebrities speak, does it actually change anything? Or does it just momentarily trend? When Taylor Swift encouraged voter registration, hundreds of thousands signed up within days. When Zendaya speaks on representation, it shapes global conversations. But here's the gap. Only about half of Gen Z say celebrity opinions influence their real-world decisions. Because awareness is not the same as action. That's why trust is shifting. Not just movies to phones, but from institutions to individuals. Less than 1 in 3 young Americans say they trust traditional media a lot. So no, movies aren't dead, Hollywood isn't disappearing. But it's no longer in control, because the real platform now is in the studio. It's a screen in your hands. And the biggest shift of all, stories used to bring us together in the same room. Now, they meet us exactly where we are. Hollywood isn't losing to Hollywood. It's losing to you. I'm Mahi Mustafa, you're watching The American Side. Until next time.